Welcome to the Business Development Podcast, brought to you by the Global Business Development Association, delivering the strategies and tactics to boost your career and corporate growth.
Hello, BD pros, and welcome to the Global Business Development Association podcast called What is Business Development? Hey, wouldn't you like to have a BD tactic that can convert prospects into customers at over 50%? 50% conversion rate versus 1 to 3% on cold calls, cold drop-ins, and a plenty of other tactics that you read about in the business development body of knowledge that's available on the Global Business Development Association website and also on Amazon. Read the book, Self-Taught, and then you can go to the GBDA website and register to take your business development professional certification. Read the book. It's packed with plenty of tactics, operations, and strategy of business development to help you get your BD career started or boost it to the next level. Now, let's get back to the show. I made some big promises there. 50% conversion rate. Well, you could do that. Some companies have recorded the ability to have 50% plus conversion rates by implementing a referral management system. That's right, referrals. That is the highest converting tactic that we can use as business developers. And at the end of the day, we say business development. The definition is customer and community advocacy that creates corporate growth. And that's advocating for your customers so that in turn, they advocate for you and bring business to you, and they become your best business developers ever. And talking about a great business developer, we're here on the show today with the father of business-to-business referral programs, and that's none other than Andrew Z. Brown. Andrew, welcome back to the show.
Tony, as always, thank you very much for having me. It's always a thrill to be here and having great conversations with you and helping the listeners get a good sense of how they can make a tremendous amount of impact by harnessing referral sources in a systematic way.
Well, and folks, if you're listening and not watching, I'm showing a picture of Andrew's book available on Amazon. It's called Get Referred. And this is an episode that's part of a multi-episode series where Andrew and I dig down into the depths of the Get Referred book and the referral management system so that you can implement these on your own, in your own corporation, and you can be a great success. And so we started our series in steps 1 and 2. We had a previous episode where we really did the deep dive in step 3 and starting, I think, to talk about step 4. So, Andrew, I'm showing the graphic right now for those folks that are listening, and there is the managed referral program process. And it's a 7-step process. And I'll just let the folks know what those 7 steps are. And Andrew, if you could just jump in with the summary of those first few steps that we covered. But folks, step 1 is selecting your initial goals. Step 2 is get referral ready. Step 3 is evaluate the referral sources. Step 4 is arm your referral sources. Step 5 is activate the referral sources. Step 6 is measure results. And step 7 is hone the program details. So, Andrew, let's talk through the first few steps that we've already covered in the previous episodes. Folks, you can go back and look at those and listen to those episodes on all of the places that you like to listen to your podcasts or watch videos. We have it on YouTube, we have it on Spotify, we have it on Substack, and now we just started posting our episodes on Spreaker as well, and we're also on Apple. So, Andrew, let's jump through once around the block on these first few steps, please.
So I'll quickly touch on each one. The setting initial goals. Of course, you want to be able to set business development goals, revenue goals. And in order to Make sure that there's internal buy-in for a process. It makes sense to also identify process goals, meaning how much time do you want to spend with referral sources. Skill development goals. You might have someone within the firm who you want to manage the process. Risk reduction goals, which is a great byproduct of working with referral sources. Organizational goals, so they might be reducing employee turnover, preparing for the next generation of great BD folks. Reputation goals, also a great opportunity to be honing the reputation when you start using referrals well. And expense goals, because just like any program, there are going to be some expenses. So you want to define those initial goals. So that's step one. Step two, getting referral ready, which is really about three big buckets of things: quantifying your reputation, addressing capacity, and reinforcing the value of referrals and referral sources and referred business within your organization. The step three is evaluating the referral sources. And this, of course, we want to do in a very systematic way because we're going to be spending time with referral sources, and we want to have the objective of making referral sources wildly successful at bringing you the business that you want. So doing things like applying the very basic referral math, which is people are only going to refer business to you if they have the skills, the willingness, and the opportunity to do it. Every successful referral source needs those three things. So it's understanding where they're strong or where they're weak on those things. And then, as laid out in the book, we suggest using the champions grid. So you can map your current referred business along two important dimensions: frequency and amount of revenue that's coming in. So these two things help you really identify the best referral sources, those people who will bring you the business you actually want at the right time and the frequency that you actually want. And the last part of the step three is, well, at the beginning when we set initial goals, and now we've got a good bunch of referral source candidates that we've evaluated, and now we've really honed in on the right referral sources. We want to revisit those goals, and we might say, we've evaluated our referral sources. Can the targets be increased? Do they need to be modified? So some referral sources are going to focus on specific products or offerings, or products or services, or should the targets for their revenue actually come at a different time? So it's a good idea to iterate those goals once you've identified the referral sources that you've chosen to be part of your managed referral program. All make sense?
Yeah, that's great, Andrew. Okay, so let's pick up then on
phase four.
The next step. Yeah.
So phase four is about arming referral sources. So some basics here that may already be part of your process, which is great. When you don't have to create new processes, life just becomes so much easier for your organization. I should also mention that the great thing about managed referral programs is these things can run in parallel, so they don't have to get in the way of any of their business development, sales, or marketing initiatives. So phase four, arm referral sources, is providing clarity on the targets for your referral sources. So describe the ideal client that you want. Describe the business or individual symptoms that help your referral source actually qualify the opportunities, and run through likely discussion scenarios with your referral sources. So that's part one of phase four. Then agree on the type of participation for each referral source. So nail down our referral source agreement. And in Get Referred, we actually have a structure for our referral source agreement. Now, that's formalizing the expectations. You don't have to go that far, but the point is to really have a clear understanding as to what your role is going to be in helping a referral source be successful at bringing the business you want, and their role. And that means allocation of resources, timings, the kind of structure or support you're going to have, the touch point calendar for each chosen referral source. So really setting those expectations is critical to making sure that you have a referral source army, if you will, that knows exactly what they need to do and knows that they're going to have the support to get it. Then, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, let's just pause right there if we can,
Sure.
Andrew, because there's a lot to unpack. And I like your analogy of the army and arming your referral sources. Well, so let's just rewind a little bit real quickly. You talk about these referral agreements,
Mhm.
but and I think that's good in the context of a formal business partner, for example, where you have a referral agreement with a formal referral agreement with your business partner. Maybe it's a complementary company that has a complementary product to yours. Maybe, and we talked about this in the previous episodes, these sources of referrals could be even a competitor, where you're just partnering on a limited basis just for a limited niche purpose. But it also could be your customers, and that's where we get a lot of referrals. So are you talking about having a formal referral agreement with your customers?
Short answer is yes. And that is, remember, it's not going to be all the customers. When we go through that process of evaluating which referral source candidate has the skills, willingness, and opportunities, we may find that there are a couple of existing customers, might be some former customers. There might be some people that have gone through the funnel and they actually chose not to be customers. They could be former employees. They are likely professionals that are within your orbit. And yes, sit down with them. And once you've evaluated their skills, willingness, and opportunity to refer, then it's a matter of saying, okay, hey, Tony, we'd love you to refer. We understand. And this is how we're going to make you successful. In exchange for that, we expect this. Is that reasonable? Is that something that you want to do? Again, skills, willingness, and opportunity always comes back to that. And when we have that good understanding, then we can develop materials, we can develop structure, we can develop support based on the individual skills, willingness, and opportunity. And part of that is being completely transparent, being completely open, being completely supportive and saying, hey, you know what? You've got these great skills. You've got these great willingness, for example, but you don't have opportunities. This is what we're going to bring to the table. We're going to bring you to some events that you've wanted to go to for years. We're going to pony up for that. In exchange for that, hey, can you tell a couple of stories at a venue about us? Or can you ask a few questions on our behalf? Whatever that specific referral source is going to be charged with, it's only fair, it's only respectful to be very clear about the expectations we have. Again, the foundational assumption of a good managed referral program is, how are we going to make a referral source successful at bringing us business, the businesses that we want? So it is incumbent upon us to understand that referral source and manage those expectations.
Yeah, I like how you say that, Andrew, and it's almost kind of on a sliding scale, right?
Exactly.
Like if it's going to be a high volume, and there will be expectations that your referral source will have, for lack of a better phrase, goals or expectations that they will provide you referrals, and vice versa, then that should be formalized in some sort of agreement. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, you probably have customers where you don't need a formal agreement, but you do need to have talking points, even if it's just a verbal discussion where you're setting those expectations of, look, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, I'm not going to bother you every quarter and ask you for a referral, but from time to time, because you seem to be really pleased with what we've done for you in the past, if it's okay, I would like to every once in a while ask for a referral to a individual that I see you're connected with. And of course, I always welcome you, the customer, bringing referrals to me at any time. Kind of having that discussion. That's just an example, but I think that's what you're saying, right, Andrew? Is kind of evaluated on a sliding scale of
Evaluated
the formal expectations versus kind of those loose expectations.
Exactly. And I would say, our research has shown time and time again that customers, while they can be great sources of referrals, aren't always the most reliable, aren't the most predictable. They've got skin in the game. They may not want to refer you because you're doing such a great job. They don't want to refer you to others because the feeling is, well, if they refer you to others, then they get somehow less attention. That's that. So you you can limit the referred business coming to you because you're so darn good at providing your product or service. So your customers may not be your best referral sources. The other thing that we found time and time again is that B2B managed referral sources want structure. They want support. They want people to touch base with them. Again, it's not so much a add-on to what they're doing. Yes, they're busy people and they're doing other things, but they want to be treated as if this is something that is really important. They want to be treated as important. So provide them with respect, with a dignity of really being very clear about what your expectations are. And it also, by doing that, you eliminate those awkward situations where they bring you something you don't want, where you feel obligated to take the business, even though it's not going to be profitable or it doesn't help your reputation. It doesn't appease your supervisors, whatever reason. But unless you have those discussions, it's quite possible that people will bring you the wrong business. How's that helping you? And it doesn't help them because if you don't tell them, if you don't, again, have that respect and that transparency, then they don't know that they're bringing you stuff that's wrong.
Yeah, I love what you said, Andrew, there. It's kind of this upfront contract, whether you formally lay it out for them, whether you just have an informal discussion. It's, hey, this is what I'm expecting to receive from you in return for referrals I potentially bring to you as my partner. And to kind of set those expectations of, the goal is I'd like to have, depending on what type of product you're selling, I like to have the three referrals a month, and I will reciprocate with 3 as well. Or I want it to be 30 or 300, depending again on the type of product. But I think the other really interesting thing you said there, Andrew, is, kind of vetting your prospect. Well, let's put it this way. What you're doing is you're helping your partner understand your ideal customer profile, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where they bring you those 3 referrals the first month and you say, but yeah, guys, this is not a good fit for me. And that's horrible for them because they're using up their trust that they have with their customers and their prospects to make that introduction. And so that can really sour that relationship for them early on. If they say, oh yeah, I got to introduce you to my partner. These guys are awesome. And then the partner comes back and says, I can't help you. This is not a good fit. So yeah, I've been there before. And one of the things I do, Andrew, and I'm curious to hear what your perspective is, when I start this off, even with somebody that I think could potentially be a formal partner, what I like to do is I just start with an informal, just kind of a relationship of, hey, this is what we do. This is what you guys do. I think it could be a good potential long-term partnership or relationship where we can really provide value to each other with referrals. But let's just kind of, let's ease into it. Let's not love bomb each other and just say, hey, yeah, let's jump right into it. And you give me 30, I'll give you 30, or whatever the relationship is. It's just kind of having those informal, one of the things I do is I give them homework. Yeah. I say, look, here are a list of my prospects. They are my ICP. They're my ideal customer profile. You're kind of swimming in the same pond. You're in that community. Tell me which one of these do you actually already know? Don't tell me if they're a customer or a prospect. I don't need to know your proprietary information, but just take 15 minutes, go through the list and just check off. Do any of these ring a bell? Do you have relationships with them? Great. Send that back to me. And also add a column that says, hey, on that list, if there's anybody you want as a prospect, let me know. You don't have a relationship with them, but you've been trying to call on them or whatever the case may be for months or whatever. Let me know. And then I will reciprocate. I'll look at my company's existing relationships. And if I can make an introduction, then I will be happy to do that. And it's funny because if you give them homework like that, then that's like the first acid test. If they can't take 15 minutes just to check some boxes, then how are you going to rely on them to be in a formal program? So it's kind of a vetting process where you're already starting to set those expectations of, hey, look, I'm going to give you homework. Okay. We're both going to have homework, but if you don't do the first assignment, then how can I rely on you? Right. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that a referral source, particularly when there's a high value product and services being sold, it requires trust between you and the referral source and the referral source and your ICP. So that kind of trust doesn't happen overnight. So the establishing projects where you start working with them to get a sense for how committed they are, how curious they are, do they want to see you succeed? I think that is critical even before you go through the process of doing that evaluation where you sit down and talk about them being a potential referral source. I think it's also important to take a moment to recognize that there is a difference between an introduction. Introductions are great. And in B2B, a real referral. The difference being that an introduction is often just very top of the funnel.
Yeah.
Whereas as a referral, particularly for a high value B2B, a referral source is bringing the opportunity right at the bottom of the funnel. And that means that they've already qualified the opportunity for you. It means that your competitors are completely out of the mix because your referral source has positioned you that way. It means that the referral source understands that there is not just a potential fit, but they understand your organization. They understand the ICP's organization, and they genuinely say, you know what, there's a fit.
I like that. So this is a real subtlety to this whole concept. Not only are you evaluating on a sliding scale left to right on, how you engage these partners, whether it's an actual business or it's a client of yours, but you're also saying, and you're setting those upfront contract expectations in the relationship. But what you're also talking about is evaluating where those referrals sources are in the funnel, all right? The classic funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Where are you expecting those referrals to come in at? Are they fully qualified, ready to go, ready to buy, bottom of funnel, ready to leave the activation phase of the customer journey and move into conversion? And is your partner going to bring you highly qualified leads that are ready to buy, or are they going to bring you top of funnel leads, which is fine, but both parties need to have an expectation. And maybe there's also a third angle to this too, Andrew, right? They could bring you a top of funnel referral, but both of you had the expectation that you will call upon that prospect together or that client together, and they will do meetings with you to get that prospect to bottom of funnel for you, right? I mean, it's like, I love this.
That's perfectly reasonable expectation to set as the program becomes, you spoke earlier about the strength of conversion, right? And you were saying that our referrals bring in 50 plus conversion. In fact, our clients, it is in excess of 90% because, again, it's focused on the bottom of the funnel. And I would encourage people who are thinking about setting up a referral program, think about where they want people to come in at the funnel, because the further on down the funnel, less expense is involved for you if you're getting prospects at the bottom of the funnel. The competitors, again, are no longer in consideration. You don't have to build name recognition. All those expenses and that time is cut dramatically. And so a managed referral program that converts, that fires on all cylinders, is one that says, you know what, we want the opportunities at the bottom of the funnel. And let's manage those expectations. What do you need, referral source, in order to bring us opportunities at the bottom of the funnel? And
Yeah,
again,
and
that's not
probably what you're doing in those partner agreements too is you could probably even have it on a scale where, look, if you bring me top of funnel referrals, you'll get X% of partner, finder's fee, however you want to structure it. I mean, there are a lot of regulated industries where it's not allowed and you can't do it.
right.
But as some sort of compensation for that referral. Whereas if they bring you a referral that's at bottom of funnel, fully qualified, ready to go, ready to buy, well, then they should get a higher commission or some sort of benefit. Let's put it that way, benefit in the relationship, right?
Exactly. And again, that's why we understand the willingness, the motivations. We've talked, I think, in previous episodes. There is a cluster of motivation that goes on as to why people refer. And often, very often, money is not the sole reason why people refer. So you have to understand those other reasons why they're bringing opportunities that are ready to buy.
Yeah, I love this. So we have about a minute left in the clock, Andrew. We really did a deep dive, I think, on step 4. Any final thoughts to kind of summarize step 4? And we can always, if we miss something, we can always cover that in the next episode. But any final thoughts for this episode on step 4, arming the referral sources?
Sure. I would say, again, managing expectations internally. So design an intake process for those referred clients, right? The people who are coming in via referral sources need to be treated better than, and whatever that means to your organization. That might be faster, it might be brought on with different people, whatever it is, but they have to be treated differently, and I would say better than those that are coming in other sources.
I love it. I love it. All right, Andrew, this has been another fantastic episode. Every time we talk, I can talk to you for hours, just deep diving referrals, because it is such a fascinating and very powerful tactic for business developers. And you heard it, folks. Andrew said his clients get up to 90% conversion. I mean, this is crazy. Imagine every referral you get is pretty much a slam dunk in conversion, and everybody wins. The customer wins, your partner wins, you win, the community wins. I can't talk enough about the power, the sheer power in Andrew's book. Again, it's called Get Referred. It's a #1 bestseller on Amazon, 5-star rated. It's available in Kindle, paperback, very reasonably priced as well. A paperback is right now listing in the US at $16.80, $9.99 in Kindle. Very accessible. He is available also, a wonderful person that you can reach out and engage on LinkedIn and multiple sources. Andrew, how can folks follow your work, connect with you?
Andrew B at getreferred.biz. If they want to email me, reach out to me. Tell me that you heard me or heard Tony and I go on about referrals. And I'm happy to spend some time with you. And of course, people can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, Andrew, thank you for that. If you follow Andrew's work, give him some likes. Give this show a like when we post it. And if you're listening on Apple, any other, Spotify, give us a thumbs up. That helps communicate this powerful message that we have here at GBDA and on this podcast to your other fellow business developers. And at the end of the day, we all get stronger together. BD is a team sport. Andrew Z. Brown, you are a pro, I got to tell you, and it's always fun sport playing with you on these episodes, folks. We'll jump into the next phase of Andrew's referral management program. But if you can't wait for that, grab his book. Again, it's available on Amazon. It's called Get Referred. Andrew Z. Brown, thank you, sir.
Tony, as always, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for listening to the Business Development Podcast. Join our free community of corporate partners and business development professionals advancing the art, science, and ethics of the business development profession at gbdassociation.org.